Guyana. I am the Chief, Lac Sivrak, and welcome to the mothership. Thank you for joining us. I greeted you in a traditional Yupik Eskimo greeting. What is the occasion, you may say? Well, we are opening Kwinn, our cousin Kwinn. Kwinn the Eskimo. Now, it says that Kwinn is Inuit, but I have to say the Inuits get a lot of attention because they're usually the only Eskimo that anybody knows. My grandfather was Inupiaq, but I was also raised... my brother Puff raised me quite a bit. And his best friend in the whole world was Edgar Monroe, who was Yupik Eskimo. And he said, "Go on." So, hope you're doing well, Edgar. Hope you're doing well. Anyway, so here's Kwinn. You know, when Kwinn the Eskimo gets here, everybody's gonna jump for joy. Yeah, more Eskimos in pop culture. That's what I say. So we were checking out. I guess I shouldn't be chewing ice on film. My bad. My bad. I have some ice water there. So, anyway, we're having a good time. So this is the reaction figures Super 7 Kwinn. God damn, what a coolest character in G.I. Joe. I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with me. Shout out to Destro as my spirit animal. Pleasure talking to you on Instagram there, young man. Kwinn is one of his top favorites. So, that's one of our we have a Kwinn kinship. Anyway, cool. I might have to pick up another one of these. We are opening this. He will be hanging out in the Lac's throne room. Stay at the end of the video. We will show Kwinn in the throne room. I moved a couple figures around. You can see General Kale right here has made it to the front. We put Rumslag and Bane Millar back together. I used to display these two guys. You ever seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid with Robert Redford and Paul Newman? I used to display these guys kind of like the end scene when they're running out of the chapel or whatever. Anyway, these are like, to me, this is like Butch and Sundance of Star Wars right here. I don't know why. Just always kind of thought that. But we moved IG Droid, I think, around. We moved Brock Starsher kind of over here. He's kind of like bouncing in the corner. You know what I mean? Just kind of keeping an eye out security-wise. But anyway, yeah, stay to the end of the episode. We'll put Kwinn up in here somewhere. Now, I'm not the biggest G.I. Joe fan in the world. Kwinn, I think at one point Kwinn, I don't know. I don't think Kwinn ever actually worked for G.I. Joe. He might have turned at the very end. I think in that last, didn't he die like in a plane crash or something? But anyway, he is like a independent mercenary mostly. And of course he has a son named Ghost Bear, I think. So anyway, let me read the back of this. First we'll show you the back. Obviously we have a file card. Here's some others figures in this line. Kwinn, come on out. Come on within. You ain't seen nothing like the Mighty Kwinn. Anyway, file name Kwinn, probably an alias, real name unknown. Birthplace unknown. Kwinn is Alaskan. That I do know. Where do I remember that from? I don't know. But Kwinn is from Alaska. Which is why he's the shit. And he's Eskimo, which is also why he's the shit. And it's okay to say Eskimo. I just want to say there's a lot of people who are not indigenous who complain a lot about people saying Eskimo. My grandfather was Eskimo. I am part Eskimo. And I can assure you, no real fucking Eskimos are offended by the word Eskimos. Now, there are Inuits, there are Yupiks, there's Inupiaks. And we don't really assume that people are going to know the difference. And that's okay. It's okay. Also, Eskimo, God, who called us? I think that I don't remember what language that derived from, but it means raw meat eater, and that is not an inaccurate. That is not inaccurate. So it's really nothing offensive about it, you know. And that's coming from somebody who is an Eskimo, so it's fine. Birthplace unknown. That's a lie. Kwinn is Alaskan. It says freelance special ops enforcer, has worked for the CIA, Mossad, KGB, MI6, and other security agencies. Special skills. Now, this is where me and Kwinn overlap here. Special skills, expert tracker, hunter, woodsman, speaks English, Russian, French, Finnish, and German. Now, I don't speak all those, but I can muddle my way through understanding most of them. I don't really know any Finnish, but German, I can kind of listen to, and French, I'm not too bad at. Shout out to you, Lady Steph. Meow. And all 3 Inuit dialects. There are way more than 3 Inuit dialects, just so you know. Expert with a rifle, pistol, longbow, harpoon, and plastic explosives. And his quote is, "I abhor senseless violence." Keyword there is senseless. Now, this reaction figures, I don't know what's going on with all the tariffs and shit, but I think obviously the Chinese are what is getting hit the most. Reactions made in Vietnam. So, I don't know if we're getting a little reprieve on these reaction figures because they're from Vietnam. You see how the soldier boot goes so elegantly into his ankle? You give me a picture of that soldier ankle, I give you my bar. Anyway, that has nothing to do with Eskimos. Bobby Bob beer, best beer in Vietnam. Anyway, did I miss anything else on here? Anyway, yeah, I'm just excited about Kwinn the Eskimo. We had a very long day at work. We all made it home alive. So, you know, that's something to celebrate. And what better way to celebrate than come home, have a nice tall glass of ice water, and open Kwinn the Eskimo. Oh, I'm chewing ice again. Sorry. That's very unprofessional, isn't it? I really don't give a fuck. Anyway, I hope everybody out there in the YouTube land is doing well. All my friends, all my rowdy friends. I'm not doing too bad. So, yeah, this is a nice card. I might have to get another one of these, because I do like that image. I do like that image. And I certainly hope, much like Destro's my spirit animal, I sure hope we get this guy in a 6-inch black series, or not black series, classified. That would just be the coolest fucking thing. Damn, that'd be cool. More Eskimo representation in pop culture. So we will open Kwinn with our faithful Bowie knife. Have I ever done a video about this knife yet? Maybe we'll do like a short story time. This knife has served me well for 30 years. 30 years your boy has carried this knife. Hell yeah. And I have done a lot of shit with it. Killed a couple animals with it. Cut a lot of fucking trees with it. Let me see. I'm just cutting the plastic bubble off. I'm not going underneath the, ooh. God damn, that motherfucker is sharp. You gotta be careful. Woo! Yeah. Let me get that back in my... I'm gonna put that back in the sheath there, boy. I do need a new sheath for this, though. Do need a new sheath for this. The guy made the sheath, and it is a nice sheath, but he made the... It had a... I had to cut this off. Anyway, he had this real long fucking thing, and it flopped around. When you make a knife sheath, the belt loop needs to be, like, right here. Especially on a big heavy knife. You know, it doesn't need to flop around. And it obviously can't be too low because it'll start to poke out. It needs to be just right here. And I could probably... I don't know. They did a very nice job. You can see where it's layered there. This sheath, it's been in this sheath for like 20 years, but I cut this thing off and I just stuff it in my belt. So, but a good knife. Good knife. Anyway, let's check out Kwinn. We're 11 minutes in it. We haven't really done anything. But I know y'all are mostly here for the hangout with Lack, and I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Hold on, I'm just trying to get Kwinn out here. Alright. Okay. So we did a pretty nice job. I guess we could save that. That is a cool piece of artwork. So let's see what we got going on here. Kwinn has... Oh, he's got a thing attached to him, I see. And we'll get his 1918 Browning machine gun. That's the only thing about Kwinn that I felt was a little unrealistic. An Alaskan Eskimo would definitely be carrying like a fucking Winchester 94th, you know, in 30-30. You know, he might have access to a machine gun or something, but he's not carrying a fucking... That's not like his main weapon that he walks around with. So, let me get this gun in his hand. Nice. Nice. So there we are. Kwinn the Eskimo, 5 POA, just like, hey, focus, goddammit. Yeah, see? Only one Kenobi taught me that. You gotta yell at it. You gotta yell at it. Shout out to you, only one. I know you're not probably watching, but... Only one Kenobi and Bosk's Bounty and Blacked Out Ewoks, they're the only people in the community that remember me from my first channel years ago called Moose Soup. Moose Soup, they said, hey, what your kids are doing here? This is Moose Soup coming to you live. Anyway, yeah. I'm sure the rest of you don't. I don't know if anybody else ever watched it, but I know Nick and Tim and Kay, you guys were there. And I appreciate you guys. That was years ago. But yeah, man. Fucking Kwinn, man. Not too many, you know, like, not too many Alaskan indigenous people are getting any spotlight in any pop culture, you know. And then, like, when there are indigenous people, you know, they're like Spirit or whatever, right? They're always like Apaches and Cheyennes and Sioux, and you don't want to fuck with no fucking Alaskans. Awesome. Focus! Yeah, look at that. So yeah, very cool figure, cool character. So we will have to put him. Man, it would be super cool. You know what I might do is the Power of the Force 2 Oromuku prune face. He has that cool like 98 Mauser, and that is also would be an acceptable Eskimo gun. I might trade this machine gun here for a prune face's bolt action. Be much more it would be much more realistic. Take a quick look at him without all those, without that belt on. Focus! Focus, goddammit! There you go. Yeah, cool figure, man. Cool figure. Cool character. Cool character. I never in a million years would have ever thought that I would have that. First of all, I would never think, you know, that they would make something like this Jabba's throne room. I never thought I would ever get something like that for affordability reasons and that kind of thing. Never thought that I would be able to turn it into Lack's throne room so easily. And certainly never thought that, you know, just all of this is just like a surprise in life, and I'm enjoying it. And we're gonna put Kwinn in there. We got General Kale in there. I'm sure there's some other figures that we will find in the 3/4 inch scale to put in here. We're going to do a rank war pit down here, right? But I think, like I was saying in that one video, so when Luke drops through this is in front of the throne right here. When he drops through it, he doesn't fall down into the pit. He comes out of a door in the wall like a fucking slide. Woo, right? But they're still looking at him through the grate. So make that fucking make sense. You know what I mean? I don't think that's possible. But I think what we could do is put maybe like a Rancor pit down here, and then maybe put another level here, and we could just like put a tube. You know, I guess it doesn't have to be totally accurate. Anyway, my point is I think it would be neat to put a Rancor pit, but there's a lot of space here. And the Rancor pit doesn't really have to be like this whole 32 inches, you know? So we put like a pit down here, and we can put like a tube through the thing that goes into it, but then we can have another level, and we could have like some dungeons and the droid little torture room. You're a feisty little one. You know, we could have that here too, which would make room for more figures, right? You could have different people in the cell. You could have anybody in the jail cells, right? They could be whatever, Ninja Turtle, like whatever. And the droid torture room, you know, you can put a couple Jawas in there, maybe a couple Ugnaughts, you know, just like people fucking doing their thing. And then you could have a Rancor pit. And I don't have a Rancor, but you know, you could have anybody in the Rancor pit, right? Like you could have these two guys in the Rancor pit fighting. Whatever. You could change out the beasts in the Rancor pit anytime you wanted to. It doesn't have to be a Rancor. It's fucking Lack's throne room. It can be anything you want, motherfucker. So, I don't know. I was just... I'm still figuring out exactly, like, the measurements, you know, and how we might do that. And then these... So I still have some of these. Now... I put this up before I ever really thought about doing this, right? This was originally the shelf for the, the Santas, right? So I'm not sure how I'm gonna, see, I have this little spot. Oh, you can't see. You can kind of see right here. See this little white space? There's just a cunt hair of white on the outside of this to where the wall ends, right? So we'll have to, let me see if I can, I'll show you just a, right? So you can see this now. See this? So I don't know if we should like maybe cut a slot in here, you know, or bring this to this side and then cut a strip and cover this and then cut another strip and cover this. But I would like to put this all the way across here and down, just like I did up there, you know. So we're still kind of just brainstorming on how to do all that, but it should be fun. Anyway, stay tuned for a short clip of the throne room close up with Kwinn, the Inuit Eskimo. I'd like to pretend he's a Nupiaq or Yupik. But like I said, most of the time Inuit is like the only Eskimos that anybody knows. So they get all the spotlight, you know. But anyway, so as my brother Puff would say, Anabasi Scha. And I appreciate you stopping by, you guys. All right. So stay tuned for a short clip of this badass motherfucker up in the throne room, hanging out with the general, the war chief, the man, the myth, the legend, Lax Zivrak. All right. I'll see you on down the trail, baby. All right. Welcome back to the throne room. This part of the video is going to be kind of bright because it's till I get the next shelf up here up. It's if you lose the light of day, then it gets a little it just gets a little bit too dark to film. So, but anyway, so we've just placed Kwinn right here. Like I said, we did a little moving around. We brought General Kale to the front. We put the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid of Star Wars together. We moved the Gilster's Cobra Interrogator over here. We got these two IG droids. So yeah, and like I was saying, if we put a shelf down here and we do some dungeons, some jail cells, and like the droid thing, right? That would free up Evie, what's his name? No. You're a feisty little one. Anyway, he's inside this little hole right there, so he can go down there. We can also spread out some weak ways. I would like to get a few more Gamorrean guards. And they can be kind of spread around. The Rancor Keeper there can obviously go down there somewhere. Anyway, yeah, it'll free up, I think, some space, for new figures, right? Because as you can see here, like, we're getting pretty full already. We would still like to, if anybody sees a vintage Snai Snoodles, she does not have to be complete with the microphone, but I would like to find one with really good paint and at least her little skirt thing. But if anybody finds an original one, I sure would like to replace that one, because I don't like that CGI bullshit one. So anyway, yeah, so our last three videos actually. So we got Imbo there, we got General Kale, and we got Kwinn. So yeah, I appreciate everybody joining me and watching. Thank you for leaving comments and stuff. Really appreciate it. And anyway, as always, I have been General Lax Zivrak, Toklat Mercenary Group, the War Chief, and hanging out in the throne room with my squad here. They're pretty much some of the baddest motherfuckers in Star Wars. Only the fucking hardcore can hang out here with Lack. That's why we got Dylan Visitation right there. We got our friend Lobot. Imbo, General Kale, Kwinn. We got all the heavy hitters. There's Dengar back there. We got all the baddest motherfuckers in the galaxy. So yeah. Anyway, I appreciate everything, all right? Y'all have a good one, and I will see you on down the trail.